welcome back to the Affirmation Addict podcast. My name is Pyle, and today we're talking about consistency, but specifically in healthy habits. Now, this is kind of a siloed episode focused on more health and wellness stuff. It's actually one of my favorite topics to talk about, but I never carve out the time to specifically talk about health and wellness. However, as I get older, I really do appreciate and realize why people say health is wealth. Because you can have everything in the world, but if you don't have like a healthy body and a healthy mind and a healthy heart to enjoy that, then there's no point for it. And I'm really just starting to understand because like now if I get sick, it takes me out for like 2 to 3 days and I'm like, oh gosh, I can't do anything, I don't want to do anything, and it takes me a little bit to just get acclimated. So I have really started extra emphasizing on health. I've always been into health, I've always kind of taken care of my health to a degree of like I've been raised in an Indian family who practices Ayurveda, practices home remedies. My parents didn't really take me to allopathic doctors unless it was like a really big emergency. Mainly, we did a lot of homeopathic and natural stuff to take care of our health. And now it is so important to me, and as I'm kind of not under my parents' care, it is how I still take care of myself to this day. And me and Tom practice that as well as we kind of continue our family journey. And so I just thought it'd be fun to talk about health. I thought it'd be really fun to talk about how I actually became more consistent in healthy habits. And the healthy habits I'm talking about is specifically health focused. I really do think everything contributes to health. I think mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, energetic health, and physical health are all part of the bigger umbrella of health. So certain things I'm talking about are like a mental health thing. However, a lot of it is physical health and a lot of it is stuff that you probably hear pretty often. And it's something that I have always wanted to try and do, right? Like, I've always tried to be more consistent in working out. I've always tried to be more consistent in like drinking more water or moving and getting natural sunlight throughout the day, or spending less time on my phone and more present in my daily life, or meditating more and actually finishing my to-do list, or eating at home and making nourishing, balanced, nutritious meals rather than getting a quick fix and eating out. I don't know if I already said this, but also waking up early. And it doesn't have to be waking up early. I will touch on this deeper, but a better way to say it is getting enough sleep, actually, is probably a better point that I'm trying to make. So the whole point of this episode is, I think, a big theme that I've noticed that me and a lot of you guys have talked to me about, that you struggle with like procrastination and consistency in multiple areas of your life. And I kind of want to talk about the consistency that I have seen the biggest shift in for myself, especially in my health and wellness kind of area of my life. And feel free to apply some of these principles or apply some of these thought processes to other areas of your life. Like maybe you're trying to be more consistent in your meditation practice or in your spiritual practice or in just finishing your to-do list and keeping a clean home and doing your laundry. Whatever it is for you, you're welcome to apply these. But I thought it'd be really fun to do an episode solely focused on health, just because it's something I'm so passionate about. And if you're listening to this and you are enjoying this episode and you like hearing me talk about health and very like nutrition and wellness focused, I feel like I sometimes steer only to talk about manifestation, but I do believe everything is connected. So just let me know if you're okay or you enjoy me talking more about health and just actual physical health and vibrance and vitality in my body and in my energy in all ways. So let me know if that's something that actually does resonate with you. I sometimes get nervous because I'm like, it's a little bit specific. So hopefully you like this episode. Okay, so to give you some context, where I was around this time last year. Last year, I woke up most of the time feeling either super anxious or not enough rest. Like I never felt well rested. I always felt like I was like waking up in like a jolt and like, oh my gosh, what do I have to do today? I just never felt like happy when I woke up, which felt like a lot to ask for at the time. Um, I was probably working out 3 times a week genuinely. Like I would probably go to a yoga class, one like workout class that I do, which is F45, which is currently my favorite type of workout, and then one time by myself going to the gym. Um, and that's kind of bold. Like, I don't even think I actually did that. I would say it was realistically like twice a week. And then I would like do some stretching at home. And then what else? I did not drink enough water. I'm still can get more water, but didn't drink much water. And then rarely ever meditated, was constantly pushing off things that were important to me. And I would say we were eating out a lot at this time last year. I think we were spending a lot of time hanging out with friends and meeting them out. And instead of kind of inviting them home and cooking more, or we would just be in a rush and I wouldn't plan well. And it would just be like, let's just eat out because I don't have time or the energy to cook right now. So that's kind of where I was last year. And honestly, compared to like how I was in college, this was beautiful. This was a great kind of stepping stone into adulthood. I'm feeling good. Like I was fine, right? But I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be. And I noticed that in more subtle ways. I noticed that in my energy levels. I noticed that in my anxiety. I noticed that in just overall contentment in life, and my willingness to show up and just how I felt in my body. I didn't feel like grateful in my body. I felt ashamed, or I felt like just not my best. I never felt that great in my body, especially at this time last year. And I definitely was dealing with, I would say, like indigestion and just not the best diet in terms of I knew my diet wasn't fully suiting me. I didn't know what it was, but I just didn't feel like what I was eating was actually serving me that much. So fast forward to now. And oh, the biggest thing, I would sleep at around like 11 or 12, wake up around 7. Um, or even later, I would sleep at 11 or 12. And then if I naturally woke up, I would wake up around like 8:39 or 10, and got like 9 to 10 hours of sleep. But it wasn't the best quality sleep. So what does it look like now, and how did I actually start shifting it? Sorry, this is such a long way of getting to the point, but I just feel like I never give you enough context in this area of my life. So I feel like I have a lot to catch you up on. Okay, so now I would say my life looks very, very different. But the biggest thing I've noticed is I feel significantly more present. I feel a lot more alert. I feel happier. I feel like I can move more. And so much of that came from doing things that I just didn't actually want to do. I think consistency is one of those things where it's like everyone knows that repetition creates changes and consistency creates that perfection, and your definition of perfection, not perfection according to society standards, but perfection of your definition, your version of perfection. But I think consistency can be hard because everyone has these generic work out more, wake up early, drink 10 glasses of water a day, go to bed early, eat at home, or eat more protein, whatever all of these like rules are that are kind of thrown at us throughout different channels of information. But I think consistency gets really hard when you don't know why you're actually doing it. This is the root of so much of my work, is knowing your why, and no one can tell you that. Your why is so different than my why, or even your sister's why, or your mom's why, or your dad's why, or your brother's why. Even people in your own family are going to have significantly different whys, because everybody interprets life, interprets all of these things in such a different way based off of specific experiences, interpretations, and all of that. We all have our unique programming. So your why to drink more water might be because you feel thirsty all the time, versus my why to drink more water might be because I just feel like I want more water and I would love to add more of that into my life. It literally could be the most irrelevant thing, but your why is specific to you. And I think when you know your why, your consistency and your desire to be consistent becomes significantly easier. Another thing is, with consistency, know what makes you push off. Know what makes it harder for you. So I think ease and convenience is huge, and making super small shifts to make your life a little bit easier, to make it a little bit more convenient for you to the point where you can handle it. And I think that takes a lot of self-awareness and self-honesty, because when we aren't consistent and we're not doing something that we really want to do, we start to judge ourselves. And so in that shame cycle, it's hard to be honest as to why am I actually not doing this thing that I really want to do? And we can't think about it in a logical way. For example, I want to drink more protein, right? I'm a vegetarian. I eat eggs, but like I don't eat too much tofu. And I know I don't get enough protein, but I work out a lot now. So I wanted a little bit more protein, just one protein shake a day. And I literally had this conversation with Tom yesterday where I was like, I don't make my protein because I hate cleaning up. I have like the electrical frothers, and like I keep it in our pantry. So I do not make the protein because I don't like going to the pantry, taking it out, making my protein, and putting it back. If I had a mason jar with a shaker bottle that I could easily just shake and I don't have to turn anything and I can just rinse out and keep it in the sink, I know I would be a lot less lazy because the proximity, it's so ridiculous. I could put the mason jar in a cabinet right there versus walking all the way to the pantry. It's actually the most ridiculous thing, but because I have to wait for it to dry and I hate when our kitchen is cluttered, I can leave the mason jar in the drying rack, but I can't leave the frother in the drying rack. That is the reason I believe that I don't drink as much protein. And so I made that change. And it can be so small, but knowing your personal quirks of like, why is this harder? Another one for us is like, Tom and I we go to F45, but we have a gym membership at kind of a bigger gym that has a sauna since we don't have one at home right now. And I would love after my workout to go sit in the sauna for 20 minutes. So we're just geographically, there was one gym, maybe like $10 cheaper a month, like nothing crazy cost wise, but there was one gym that was the same distance from our house. So 8 minutes from our house, both, or maybe even four. But one was on the way back from that gym and one was a little bit of a detour. And because it was a little bit of a detour, I never went to the sauna after. Now that we've switched gyms, this is literally on the way back. It's perfect. I pass it every single time I'm coming home. I go to sit in the sauna like 3 times more a week than I used to. And so realizing what your little quirks are and what's making it harder for you to be consistent is such a powerful practice of self awareness and problem solving and being resourceful, that it makes a huge difference. And there's probably different layers of limiting beliefs tied in, like, oh, it's a little bit more expensive to go to this gym, but it's like, well, I'll probably use it a lot more. So maybe it actually isn't that much more expensive. When figuring out what reasoning and what logic we're going through in our head, because we make decisions so quickly and we assign reasoning so fast. So those are my two biggest tips for consistency, is understanding your why, but then also understand why you're not being consistent. What's stopping you? What's that resistance? For me, a big thing that I wanted to do was go to the 6 a.m. workout class because I have so much more time in my day versus when I do 8:30, I tend to skip it because normally I have to be somewhere by like 9:30, or if I'm helping babysit, I won't have time. So I was like, I would love to do my 6 a.m. workouts and stay on a consistent schedule and go to the gym or move my body at 6, because then I actually have time for myself in the morning. That was my personal why. And what it helped me do was I was actually able to get myself so clear on why I wanted to do it. And then I realized what makes it harder for me to get up in the morning. It's one more decision for me to make to pick out my clothes. And everyone says this, lay out your clothes for the gym in the morning. But for me, it's not like the motivation to get there. I don't need a cute outfit. Like some people say, put on a cute outfit to get to the gym. If that works for you, great. That means nothing to me. I don't care if I have a cute outfit. I just need my outfit, like my socks, my bra, my underwear, my shirt, and my leggings all laid out. So that way at 5:15 when I'm waking up, I can go brush my teeth, wash my face, and then just put on my clothes. I'm not making a decision or even taking the extra few minutes to take out clothes. I can literally wake up and that saves me like 5 or 6 minutes of brain power, but also time so I can sleep a little bit more in the morning. So it's really interesting because you have to find what's unique to you and play with it. Because I thought it would be getting a cute outfit for the gym. Didn't do anything for me. It doesn't make sense. I thought it would be having like different alarm sounds and all of these things, but you have to play with it. So think of consistency as something you can experiment with to get to where you want to be. But those are the two biggest shifts that made a difference for me. And I'll give you some more examples of the healthy habits that I am actually consistent with now. And I will kind of rate them on like how much of a difference I think it's made. Number one, water. I wanted to drink more water. I didn't grow up in a family that drinks too much water. And I was like, I think I would like to drink more water because I don't feel like I'm actually hydrated. And I feel like water is like life force, and to me it felt like a very spiritual reasoning actually. Like I just feel like I needed to nourish myself. It felt like a very internal quench that I needed to do, not because I say 8 hours of water, not because I feel dehydrated, but I really just like water, and I was like, why not drink more of it, and it's supposed to be good for you. So for me, drinking more water, the biggest thing was getting a bigger glass at home. I tried a lot of different glasses, and I didn't like water bottles. I hate water bottles that look clunky. So I needed a big glass with a glass straw. It made the biggest difference for me. And now I can say I drink around 2 to 3 like big mason jars of water at home. And then I have a water in our car that makes it easy for me to drink water when I'm not at home. So just catering your needs to your lifestyle. I cannot stress that enough. Your lifestyle looks like nobody else's. So get clear on what your little quirks are. Like for me, sipping, like if I don't have a straw, tipping my water cup back is annoying to me. And getting up to refill my water more often is a nuisance. So I needed a bigger glass. Super simple things, but it makes the biggest difference. That habit has been the easiest for me to shift once I shifted it, and I'm happy with it. The next one, probably my biggest one, waking up early slash sleeping more. This was kind of the biggest thing that made the difference for me, was realizing that my days significantly shrunk when I started my workouts at 8:30 versus 6. I feel like I lost 2 to 3 hours of my day, and I was feeling like I was always behind when I was working out at 8:30 versus around 6 a.m. And then secondly, I got some blood work back, and my cortisol and my melatonin, right? Yeah, my melatonin was flipped. And one of the things that you can do to kind of naturally reshift that is go to bed a little bit earlier, wake up a little bit earlier. And I did two things to help myself do that. One is allowing myself to sleep earlier without judging myself. Like I can stay up till like 2 a.m. and be totally happy as pie. Like that's my culture. I grew up with that. My parents literally stay up till 1 to 2 a.m. on normal nights. However, I would always judge. I had a perception that if you're going to sleep early, you're boring or you're not enjoying life. But if I went to sleep late and still woke up at that 6 a.m. or even for my 8:30 a.m., I would always feel rushed in the morning, and I never felt that great. So, shifting to reframing how I felt sleeping earlier and allowing myself to like not judge myself for literally being in bed by 9 o'clock, actually probably asleep by 9, meaning in bed in the 8 o'clock range, was insane to me, because that was such a big reframe to me. I judged myself. I felt like a child, felt like a little kid. It was a lot of random deep things that I had to go through to be like, it's okay for me to be in bed early. And I also have the luxury to, right? We don't have kids. Like we have that flexibility. So why not enjoy it? Obviously, we go out, enjoy our time with our friends and stuff, and we stay out as late as needed. But if it's just me and Tom and we have no plans, like that's what I'm doing. Then I'm actually awake in the morning. I'm not anxious, and I'm like looking forward to getting to my movement. And I can see over the past few months, because I feel like I consistently started doing this in January, my energy levels throughout the day feel a lot better. I feel like in better health. And I've been able to work out more days of the week because I'm not cramming my schedule. I don't have any obligations at 6 a.m. So I'm able to actually get to the gym or get my body moving almost 5 times a week compared to my 1 to 2 to 3 times a week. And it's harder workouts, but I have more energy for those workouts too. Similarly, the working out, moving my body, getting okay being scared and not feeling like I have to be perfect the first time. I hate cardio based workouts. I've talked about this before, and I'm fine with strength training, but I know I need cardio. I know for like my health, just what my blood work came out with, cardio would only serve me. And I was so scared to go to cardio workouts because I would hate that feeling of like wheezing and feeling out of breath. But if you listen to this last episode, I talked about doing it scared, and I went to cardio classes and I did it scared. And now, after going to cardio classes for a few weeks, like cardio is kind of starting to become some of my favorite days because I love the movements of it. And giving yourself permission to do it scared, but also find different ways to make it meaningful to you. Like I learned that with more cardio days, I have so much more energy with my niece and my nephew, Ellie. Like Ellie and Nash. Nash is a baby right now, so I'm not playing with him like this, but Ellie, she's almost 3, and we like run around and I can pick her up and run and sprint in circles without getting tired. I can keep up with her. So that like personal motivation of like, oh my gosh, I can notice that I'm not getting tired when I'm chasing her, versus I used to be like, okay, Ellie, Thea needs a break, right? So realizing like finding your personal unique way to reframe it and make it relevant for you. So that has been 10 out of 10, working out and moving my body earlier, but also doing workouts I was scared of. Another thing I was scared of at the gym, specifically cardio, was doing like box jumps, like what's where you basically are on the ground and you just jump onto a high box. I would just step up because I was too scared and I was like, I can't do it. I'm going to hurt myself. And I finally was like, I know, you know what? I was like, Tom, can you watch me? I'm just going to try. And I just wanted to do it scared. And I was like, I am so scared. And I like closed my eyes, but I did it. And I was like, wow, like I feel not only stronger, but I feel proud of myself that I did something that I was really scared of. And that feeling comes so much more when you give yourself permission to do it scared. And I have noticed myself getting stronger physically and feeling just more nimble and more able to move, which has been really nice. And finding workouts that suit you. I used to try boxing, worked for me a little bit, or like some people do what is it, CrossFit. Some people do high intensity training. That's kind of what my gym goes into, but it's functional high intensity training. So you do a lot of movements that you use in your daily life. So I've loved it for me so far, but who knows, maybe I'll change. And I still do yoga, so I still do Pilates sometimes. So just finding movements that make you feel good and allowing yourself to cycle sync your movements if you're a woman, or just sync your movements to how you're feeling a little bit, is also really fun too. Another one that I've been really working on is meditating more and noticing what stops me from meditating and taking away those distractions and carving out like a good set schedule has helped me in so many ways. Like I used to feel like I only could meditate in one corner of the house, but now I let myself meditate whether it's here or even in bed, and giving myself permission to meditate wherever I'm able to meditate. That's been really nice for me. And then the last one is eating at home more, cooking more. The biggest thing that has been the biggest lifesaver, and we've done this ever since COVID, is ordering in our groceries. I love grocery shopping. I literally can spend 3 hours at the grocery store because I love looking at ingredients and I love looking at all the new products and packaging and marketing, and I just love food. So I can honestly spend my entire life at the grocery store and be so happy, but that just sucks out a lot of time and I get too distracted. So ordering our groceries has helped so much, and planning our meals ahead, and not even planning, but just being like, okay, I'm ordering this so I can make this. I don't meal plan, but I know what is on rotation for us and I know what I'm feeling, and I give myself a list to kind of choose from, or finding like ordering things that I know I'll use in one way or the other and knowing how I'm going to use it before I get it. That's been so helpful for us in terms of eating more and letting my intuition pick what I want to eat each week, even each day. Like I might have planned a meal, but that doesn't sound good. That's fine. Then pivot and still give yourself permission to eat at home and have fun with the cooking process. Enjoy it, put some music on, and don't rush through it and take it so seriously. For me, allowing myself to have fun while I'm cooking has been a huge game changer because I do love cooking, but I like overthink it and I stress out about it, in the sense where it's like I want it to be perfect, so I'm not enjoying it. But now it's like, okay, if it's not exactly perfect, it's fine, but I'm having more fun with it. And it's probably tastes way better because I'm allowing myself to enjoy that entire process too. And lastly, one big thing we've implemented is we got a cold plunge. So we've been cold plunging more, which has been so good for physical health, but honestly, mainly my mental health. I probably cold plunge once a week max right now. I go through love hate relationships with it because it is uncomfortable for me. So that's an area I can get better in the sense like, I hate getting wet and changing into my swimsuit and drying off and toweling off. So I need to find a little bit of a better system, probably pairing it once like I'm already getting my day moving, like just do it and then start my work day. I don't have it kind of set in my day yet. So I need a better system for cold plunging. But when I do cold plunge, I feel absolutely amazing. And the biggest thing with all of these healthy habits, I don't want this to sound overwhelming. These are actually really small shifts, but I've noticed my ability to manage my energy more, manage my health more, and not get sick as much, and just be consistent in things that were important to me. Really, the biggest things that were more water intake, more nourishing food, sleep, and moving my body. Those are the biggest things, and don't try to be that person who wakes up at 6 a.m. if it doesn't work for you. Another huge reason 6 a.m. works for me is because Tom wakes up at 6 a.m. If it's just me, I would naturally wake up later, but him going to the gym also helps me want to go to the gym. So I like having that accountability with him, but also we get to go to the gym together now. So it's like a really fun way for us to spend time together. So maybe you get an accountability buddy and you work on your health together. And that has been a really fun thing, like looking at improving your consistency in your health with the lens of love, not the lens of I have to do this to lose weight or I have to do this to not get cancer. Like those types of very extreme, kind of heavy intentions actually don't always serve us the best. You have to find a motivation that is a form of an affirmation, not a form of something you're trying to avoid or get rid of. It has to be something that you're trying to amplify. And if you take away one thing from this entire episode, it's that when it comes to your health and wellness, don't do it for a reason to get rid of or to prevent. Do it to amplify and enhance, because whatever you're preventing or you're trying to get rid of are things that are unwanted. And if that's your focus, we know that the subconscious mind doesn't understand things that you don't want. It just understands what you're focusing on. So if you're constantly focusing on losing weight, it's focusing on weight. It's not focusing on the losing part. It's focusing on there's too much excess weight. Versus if you're focusing on, I just want to feel more energized. I want to feel happy when I wake up. That's an amplification rather than I don't want to feel anxious anymore. So shift what your intention is to be a form of an affirmation for each of these, right? Make sure you're not trying to do it out of a fear-based mindset or a preventative mindset. Even if your intentions are good, just shift it to be an enhancer. I want to feel better. I want to feel more vibrant. I want to feel looser in my body. I want to feel confident in my body, whatever it is. But make sure that the focus is actually not kind of sneakily on what you don't want, because that's one of the fundamentals of manifestation where we unintentionally manifest things that we don't want. So find your why, make it easier for yourself, and whatever kind of triggers are blocking you, admit those and work your way around it, and then focus on what it is that you want. Stop focusing on what you want less of or what you're scared of or what you're trying to prevent. Focus on what you want to enhance and amplify. That's a really powerful perspective shift, especially in our health. And with this whole shift, the biggest thing me and Tom have both noticed is we've been around so many people who've gotten sick and had all these contagious things, and both of us rarely got sick this past year. The one time I got really sick was when I was going through a huge like internal unveiling and a really really big kind of almost excavation spiritually, which sometimes manifests as getting sick. But like, I don't get sick around my niece who's like running around with a bunch of boogers because she's going to school and stuff or going to her different classes. But I'll only get sick if I'm going through like a really big release in my body, which is usually spiritually related, not just like environmentally related. So Just some food for thought. I know this was a totally different episode, but I really hope that you found it interesting. I don't want to go too long. I don't like making my episodes longer than 30 minutes. So I'm cutting it a little bit short, but just know your health is something that is so powerful, but it's also so unique to you. My list of new habits might have nothing to do with yours, and that's okay. Your health is unique to you, and do what works for you. I am in no way implying that what works for me is going to be what works for everybody else, but I wanted to share the little perspective shifts that helped me along the way to actually reframe and create healthy habits that serve me and serve some of the goals I was wanting to meet. Maybe they'll change. Like maybe I won't want to wake up early in 6 months. Who knows? But right now, this is where I'm at. And I'm really feeling like a good, sustainable energy consistently for weeks at a time, which is really, really nice. So, I hope this episode was insightful. Let me know if you have any questions about this topic specifically. You can always DM me on Instagram. So I love you and thank you for being here if you made it this far. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.